Hello, welcome back. Another episode of Send Him Off, another pre-season preview, and we are plowing through them. This is our last one of the night, number 5. Joining me as always is my ever-present podcasting partner, Alex. Nearly there.
There we are. The night is drawing in, boys. The night's drawing in.
If you watch these in audio, you can see the room will get gradually darker.
You'll see my light turn on during the last one. But look, we're not alone. We are very privileged and honoured to be joined by Sam.
Yeah, we are Spurs today, and we're joined by Spurs fan and stand-up comedian, all the way from Leighton Buzzard.
Leighton Buzzard.
Apparently, I'm in Leighton Buzzard.
What's it called?
Yeah, Leighton Buzzard. Apparently,
Is it actually called? Did I get it right, or did I just forget it?
Yeah, no, you nailed it.
There we are.
Fair enough. Jake Lambert. Thanks for joining.
Lambert, as of tonight, Leighton Buzzard.
Yeah. Leighton Buzzard. Yeah. So sorry, I know you're both just complaining about how late it is and how long you've been doing this, and I am to blame for that.
It's never too late in Leighton Buzzard.
That's true. Yeah. The town, if it's a town, village that never sleeps, I think they call it.
Yeah, of course.
There we are.
Absolutely right. I'm going to a rave after this.
Right. Okay. Let's get into it, because this could be a very, very interesting one.
It could. So, last season, if you can just sum it up, Jake, how was last season for Spurs?
As always, chaotic. There's a thing at Tottenham, a sort of a video that plays before each game or home game, and it says about I think it was a quote from Bill Nicholson where it says, even in failure there'll be success, and that's what Tottenham is. Even sort of there'll be something there to cling on to, and it seems to be what happens every season. We have something we can just sort of cling on to that was just enough to keep, but at the minute it's just enough to keep Harry Kane. And last season was Conte coming in to save us, and then us somehow getting top 4, where we had a disastrous season and somehow managed to get top 4, and somehow sort of ended up with us sort of as them as sort of our heroes again, and did us proud despite sort of losing ridiculous games, losing away to Burnley, not showing up for games. It was just, as always, chaotic.
Is more of the same this year, or
are we in for a bit of a change?
Quietly confident.
That's the thing. I feel like with having Conte is incredible. You do just feel like it sort of seems a bit more controlled and calm. Even though he's quite erratic, he seems overall, the vibe seems calm, that he knows what he wants and what he's doing. The signings, I think they've been very sensible. It's like, if I ever think about them, it's not the sort of overwhelming, sort of incredible, like a marquee signing I was expecting. But then whenever I think of that, I go, well, Perisic is the experience that I've always thought we lacked. Like when we were in the Champions League final against Liverpool, I was like, nobody's ever been here. Poch's never been here. They're looking around each other going, what do? We didn't have somebody who could sort of like drag them. And I felt like we always lacked that experience. And he's come in, Basuma, that's so sensible. He was always so difficult to play against. Loved watching him. But again, it's not like, it's sort of, I guess, the equivalent of like Chelsea buying like Conte. It's amazing signing, isn't it? But it's not somebody that's sort of going to get you off your feet. It's just going to keep everything controlled. And then Richarlison could go either way. But I think I was quite surprised by that one. It didn't seem the most sensible choice because he's a little bit erratic, but it is a bit of a character that maybe Conte or someone that will thrive under Conte and that Conte sort of enjoys having. Because we always say, we're Tottenham fans, we always say Lamella would have probably done very well under Conte. Just that's a bit of a git. And I think Conte likes gits, and we've not had enough gits, but now we've got Romero and Richarlison, who last year sort of battled against each other.
You'll have a surplus of gits before long.
Yeah. And we've always been too nice, I think. We're sort of the nice boys. And Son's this lovely boy that people like. Kane can be, he does this thing where he sort of backs into people, but otherwise he's quite nice. They've all been quite nice, and it's been too nice. I think that's been our problem.
Yeah.
Sorry, I'm next to a toilet. Someone's drying their hands. If you can hear that.
That's all right.
I thought you were going to say they were on it, and They were doing one, but
glamour,
anyway.
the glamour,
the glamour of stand-up comedy in
and
where was
Buzzard.
it? Leighton Buzzard. I tell you,
the comedy hub.
No, I like the look of Jed Spence as well. To be honest, he was
Yeah.
outstanding last year, and I think in a Conte system, it could work. I think the business has been so smart this summer. I think, to be honest, this Bar City, I think it's the best business in the league.
And they've done all their business at the right time. They did it when they needed to do it. They don't have to panic now. Anything else now is a bonus. They're not going to get rid of anyone ridiculous to fund any other players. Everything's been done, so the ship is pretty steady. This
is great to hear, because I think the issue is I follow a lot of Tottenham fans, and then what happens is, just because of the way Twitter's algorithm works, is I see a lot of Arsenal tweets now. So all I get is Tottenham fans being worried, have we done enough? And Arsenal fans telling us and trying to convince us that we haven't done enough.
Yeah.
So I forget that there is the neutral and the outsiders, and a lot of Tottenham fans that, this is what we need. This is great. Jed Spence, I think, is brilliant. I'm just always like, is it too good to be true that Conte can just pick someone up and go, now you do this, and then suddenly he's amazing? You never know. Do you know what I mean? So
we'll see. Yeah.
Right. Yeah. Well, yeah. There's only one way to find out, unfortunately.
Yeah.
And and we'll get to soon. The other thing is with Tottenham, it's our first 4 games. So it's Southampton at home, Chelsea away. I can't remember who the others are, but they're all the 4 exact fixtures that we lost last season. So it's a bit of a test. You go, well, we lost to Southampton at home, we lost to Chelsea away. That's the thing where it's good that we've got the gits now, because even though we had Conte, we were always so embarrassing against Chelsea. I think we beat them once on sort of New Year's Day, I think like 5 or 6 years ago.
That 1964 Boxing Day where Chelsea won, whatever. Yeah, here we go.
We'll never forget. But yeah, so we've just always been bullied, or we sort of buckle. But it seems like now after that performance against City and going up to Liverpool, who we've always struggled against, and sort of holding them to a draw, and we could have won it. Feels like now we're not being bullied as much as, so maybe it's all changed. But maybe this will age terribly.
We'll come to May and Spurs will be battered by Chelsea.
I can guarantee you, Jake, it will not age as badly as our pre-season predictions last year, where we went, I think Norwich will comfortably stay up.
Yeah, Norwich will comfortably stay up.
It will not age as badly.
We've all been there.
This might be a silly question. Who are the key players? Obviously, you've got Kane and Son. Anybody else you're looking at?
It's Romero at the back. It's sort of that. He's just so controlled. He's so good to watch. It's I feel like, when you watch it, it's more exciting, obviously, to watch the attacking players. It's very rare that sort of a centre back. But recently, I think the game has changed a bit, isn't it? He's sort of got like Van Dijk, and he's like one of the heroes at Liverpool. And usually you get like a solid 2, but Romero is just amazing to watch. And he just drives up the pitch. We had a friendly last Saturday, and at one point he was the furthest man up the pitch. And we're waiting for Kane to do a through ball through to him. He gets up there, and he's great to watch. I think Basuma, for me, is just that control, calm. I can't believe we've got him. That's the one that I think even if it was like a regular season, we hadn't done all these amazing signings, if we just got Basuma, I'll be thinking, well, we're just that bit better. But the fact that Romero has already been there as well, now it's his first full season amongst those players, I think
he's going to convince himself Tottenham are going to win the league. I can see it coming now. You're going to talk yourself. By the time we get to prediction, we're winning it. We're winning everything.
I won't let myself. I've got my prediction. I think I know where we're finishing. I've got my prediction.
Okay.
I'm not letting you talk me up anymore off that.
Hang on to that. So we had the key player. What about like an underrated player that like a lot of neutral fans might not pick up on, but as a Tottenham fan, you'd be able to see him and you think, well, a lot of what he will do will go under the radar.
Well, I don't know what the outside perspective is on Kulusevski. But I think that when Tottenham they talk about Kane and Son, and they say, about Richarlison and what he can do. I think Kulusevski is unbelievable. I feel like he was great when he came in, but I felt a bit bad for him. He had to play with sort of Emerson, because Emerson's very erratic. And now I imagine if he gets a proper right wing back who he can sort of overlap with, he'll be great. And then Bentancur, the 2 of those that came in, they are just, again, Bentancur is very calm, very collected. they take us up a level. They're young, but they've got the experience.
Yeah.
And when they came in, it was January, so you never get glamorous signings. So already they went in under the radar, but they instantly lifted our team. We became so much better. And I feel like Kulusevski, because he's so young, he's only 23, but he looks older. So if he looked as young as he is, I think people would maybe be more excited. If he was English, they'd be raving about him because he's come in and he's done so well. But he's this Swedish guy. He's just turned 23, but he's sort of a bit awkward looking. Do you know what I mean? He's got sort of quite the young sort of Kane thing about him, where he just doesn't look like an athlete, but I think he's great, and I think he's finally the player actually that Son and Kane deserve to then have the other side of the pitch.
Just one quick question about just regarding players before we move on. Does Joe Rodon have a future at Tottenham?
I don't think so.
No?
And this is purely off all the managers' decisions. That I guess there's something on the training pitch that we haven't seen. I really like him, and I think he's great. And I think him and Ben Davies seem to have a great sort of connection and partnership together when they're playing for Wales. I think they're brilliant. Something clearly they don't trust in him. There's some errors in training, but nobody's fully trusted him. There was rumours now of him going to join Mourinho at Roma, but I don't know if that sort of
I think I did hear a little whisper about that, but I'm not sure where that went.
Confusing because he never really played him. So unfortunately, I don't think some players at Tottenham, they just come and it doesn't quite work and they go, and it's a shame. So I really like him, and I thought he was gonna, because he came in just as we got Bale, just after Bale. So we had this sort of Welsh mafia thing that everyone was saying with the three of them, and it was great, but he just never quite broke through. And I don't think so, unfortunately. But I would love him to. I feel like, especially with Conte's defence, they've taken a few too many risks where he's obviously from the back and he's got Romero, he trusts Dyer, he wants Bastoni, he couldn't get Bastoni. I think they're waiting next year and they believe they can get Bastoni. So he's got Lenglet and he's got Davis. It's just, I think Joe Rodon's a bit too, he doesn't trust him enough to come in as the backup, I think. I think we've got Sanchez that would sort of fill that role as somebody who's just good enough to be the backup.
Sure.
Yeah. It's a shame.
Sorry, I know, yeah.
From a Swansea boy.
To be honest,
I know.
Honest, from my point of view, I want to see him go now. I think he's too good to be on the bench. I think, we want to see him play for Wales' sake now. But right, enough about Swansea. we always end up talking about Swansea, don't we?
It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter where. We'll do it at least once in the session.
Yeah, definitely. So we've had your underrated player. What is where would you be happy with this year as a finish? Not necessarily your prediction, but where is a bare minimum would you be happy?
Well, if we're going bare minimum, it would be top 4 again.
Ooh,
there has to be a trophy.
That's telling. Okay.
There has to be a trophy. Really, there has to be a trophy. I mean, there has to be a trophy and top 4. I think with now what we've got, and we're how much more and can we expect Kane to sort of wait for? We've brought everybody in, and we all want it for Kane. We want it for ourselves. We want it for Kane. Obviously, we love Conte, we love Son, we love these people, but it's Kane. He deserves it. And you go, otherwise we just go, of course. A bit like you saying you want Jovan just to go and play. At some point, we're going to have to go. Just like I remember doing with Teddy Sheringham when he said he was open. He said, "I'm going to go to Man United. I'm going to win some trophies, and I'll come back." And he went away and he won some trophies, and then he came back. And we'll just go and do that. You deserve it. We can't give you what you deserve. But sometimes there is this slight issue with Kane with all the finals he's been in that he's never quite delivered in a final, and that's for England as well, obviously now. So a little bit we go, there's a bit on you. You are there, and you're playing in these finals, but there's just something you go. Of course, he could just fit into any team. So. And I feel like when that happens, I don't know what happens to the club if we can get somebody in. Obviously last time we lost Bale, and then we set ourselves back a couple of years, and then never quite recovered until Pochettino in 2019. I think
my favourite stats was Gareth Bale was like the 21st player to replace Gareth Bale or something like that.
yeah.
When he came back on loan, I think that's what it was.
and we almost did the same with Eriksen.
Yeah.
Just get him back, and eventually Kane will do it. Kane will come back and replace himself. I guarantee
or you get Teddy Sheringham back. Either way.
One or the
other. One of them. Right. So that's what we'd be happy with. We're asking everybody at the end.
Final question.
Your prediction. You said you've got it in your head. Are you willing to put your neck on the line and let us know where Tottenham are going to finish this season?
Do you know what's just happened is I know where I had in my mind, but I've just been thinking about it as you've said it, and I actually think I'm going to go up one more. I thought we'd do third. I thought we'd do third, and I think Chelsea, again, they've just not been great in the transfer window. It can't be great mentality wise to have obviously Lukaku go. That didn't work. A few players have ended up rejecting them to go to Barcelona. I'm actually a bit annoyed that they haven't managed to get rid of is it Azpilicueta and who's their other wing back? But they both stayed at the moment. And and they were gonna go and they both stayed. I was like, I'd rather you went because I think you're quite good. So and they always do well against Tottenham and they get it as well. I was like, what I want is for Chelsea to replace their defence with people who don't quite get the rivalry, and then we sort of capitalise on it. So there's Chelsea there, but I actually think I've always thought that there's no reason, and this might sound mad, I'm sorry, especially if any Liverpool fans are listening, I don't think there's any reason that Tottenham can't do what Liverpool have done over the last few years. Because again, they've not spent. They've just had a manager who knows what he wanted, who knew what he was doing, who came in, got what he wanted, got players who he sort of, again, people are saying, well, Tottenham have bought Basuma from Brighton. I was like, well, they got Van Dijk from Southampton. You know what I mean? It's taken these players that have got the experience and putting them in a team like that sort of helps. And now he's gone up to world class. And he was great at Southampton, but that's what happens. That's the journey for these players. They're not always at top teams. They sort of come up. Well, obviously, some of them are, but they come up. And there's no reason. If I look at the Liverpool squad, especially with this Nunes guy who, I don't know, was it sometimes missing open goals, sometimes scoring 4 in a game. And that's just across 3 games so far, I think. I think he had one season where he scored over 20 goals. The season before that was 6 goals. And that's all he's had so far, I think, of any sort of note. But anytime I compare the striker, I go, well, we've got Harry Kane. So already we've got Harry Kane. They've got I've got Salah, and you go, well, we've got Son. They've got Jota. They've got Rataza. We've got like a few that I go, we can match them. And Van Dijk's great. We've got Romero. Yeah. You never know. So I just go, I look across it and I go, I don't know. It looks like really we're sort of probably quite well matched now. So I think there is a chance that we get seconds.
I see what you're saying, and I don't want to get sucked into the old Norwich routine that we did last year.
Yeah, we don't give us your curse.
Yeah. Because it was Chris Reeve that came on and he was saying, oh, yeah, Norwich, we're 100% staying up, easy peasy all day. And we're like, do you know what? Yeah, I believe you.
We fell for it.
Yeah.
But so I'm going to agree with you. I think second. I think we put them third in our table.
We put them third, but again...
Because Alex wanted to. But,
All right, fine.
I trusted you.
I think they could be in with a shout.
No,
anyway,
100%. And speaking about it, man for man, it does make sense. But anyway, it is. We have to wrap it up.
Yeah, that is your prediction. Jake, thank you so much. It's been
and you've convinced me. I'm going to blame you lot. You convinced me.
There we are. It's our fault. It's Send Him Off's fault. There we are.
It always is. It always is.
It is. It's been a pleasure, mate. Thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you for having me.
Lizard or whatever you are. If you just want to tell people who's listening where they can find you, where they might be able to come see you perform as well.
Leighton Buzzards. I'm doing the residency. I am all social media. Just search Jake Lambert or Little Lost Lad is the handle. But just search Jake Lambert and I'd come up. I think there's another Jake Lambert on Twitter, but he's I think he's like a young Labour politician who lives in quite a right-wing racist area. So I think I'm fine. He's not getting anywhere.
Yeah. You'll be able to spot the difference. You're all right.
Yeah. Hopefully.
Hopefully.
There we are. Well, thank you for joining us. That's Another one wrapped up. Another one.
Lovely. Thanks for having me.
No problem at all. Alex, pleasure. We can go to bed now. It's the last one of the night.
We can go to sleep.
You've done well. You put a shift in.
Yeah. Until tomorrow.
I'm in Leighton Buzzard.
It could be worse. We could be in Leighton Buzzard, innit?
Remember, it could always be worse.
On that note, we'll leave you to it, guys. Thank you so much for listening. Pleasure as always, and we'll see you soon. Ta-ra.
Take care.